All eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. New look, got the ladies shook. New watch saying it's my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. But the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Pay attention, I'm on a mission. I'm there with a vision. Got a passion, making it happen. Ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. All eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So
right. Now we're starting. Ooh, music in here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear us?
I think they can, Shana. I
Okay.
think they can hear us now.
Awesome.
So that's really good.
So
Not sure
good.
if we're
Thank
talking
you
over
for
the
your
opening
patience.
of the music or not right now. I can't quite tell. But regardless, we are here in Montana still.
And yes, Rachel, Mike is turning into a native.
Yeah, so I once heard
Mountain Mike.
I once heard from Megan that I was all hat and no ranch. And now I seem to be all ranch broker and no ranch out here in Montana. I seem to have gotten the attire. I have nice belt on. I think I'm all set to go.
Yeah.
But no, we don't own a Montana ranch, so
No,
maybe
we
we'll
don't.
have to change
We're
that
trying to help
eventually.
other people own one, but
guys,
not us.
it's really nice here.
Yes, it's very nice here. So we what do? Roll call. We're doing roll call.
Perfect. So chat in right now and tell us you are present, because we are now present and you can actually hear us, and that's really nice. And we would like to invite, if this is your first time on here, to go ahead and chat in and tell us your name, and we'll communicate with you. Our goal here is to share knowledge, right? And to be able to give that out so that you guys collect it and you have it. And then you can give that on to your clients and earn for your family and do even better, right?
And don't be shy. It makes us feel good if you chime in and let us know that you're new. So please do that.
And then we can help you out. If there's topics that you want covered in the future, we'll be here for you to be able to cover those. All right, so you don't have your bell with you, do you?
No, I don't have the bell, but I'm going to do my fake bell. You ready?
Fake bell. Go, hit it.
I could do a whistle.
Yeah, whistle. No, whistle would be awesome. Hello, Mike and Shana here, real estate brokers and co-owners with Acquisto Real Estate. And topic number one for today is going to be keep your car clean.
What? Why does that matter?
It does matter.
Oh, we don't really put people in our cars anymore.
Well, but some people look at it, right? So let's talk about why that would be important, Shana. Okay. So do you want to tell the story, or would you like me to?
I would love for you to tell the story.
All right. So I'm talking with my good friend Brad, and Brad interviews a bunch of different people. And we were talking about different ways that we interview and what he does. So he said his hiring practice is when anyone comes to interview with him, that as soon as they walk in, he has his assistant lead him into his office and sit him down for the interview. And then he steps out the back door and walks around and goes to their car. And he finds, because he knows who works there and he understands that. So when he walks around, he looks in their car just to see what it looks like, to see how clean, how neat, whatever that
tells
is.
A lot. He feels this tells a lot about a person, right?
Yeah. And then he doesn't care what kind of car it is. He doesn't care any of that, right? He just cares like kind of how clean you keep it on the inside. So that's what he does. And he takes a look at that. And then once he finds that out, then he walks back in the meeting and he has some additional data points. So there you go. So consider what your car is like and if you would hire yourself or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think, it's like having a clean house. It makes you feel good. It takes a little bit of weight and pressure. When you're all cluttered in life, then that's kind of your mentality, right? You just can't see past it. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Keep your car clean.
There you go. Ding, whistle. Mike and Shana Acquisto here, reporting to you directly from Montana. Bozeman from the Kimpton. There's an M in it. Is that how you say it? Kimpton or
Kimpton? Kipton.
Kipton. I skip the M.
It's the Kipton. Chat in if any of you remember or had kids that watched this show called The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, because we kind of feel like we're living that life. We've been here for 7 days and looks like we're going to be here for 8. So we feel like we're living the sweet life of Mike and Shana.
Very good. And the topic we are discussing right now is how to structure a land deal.
And
this question was asked to us by an agent with Acquisto Real Estate. So thank you for asking that, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Kimberly Miller, actually. So thank you for that comment.
Shout
out, Kimberly.
So Kim has a client, and it kind of brought this to my attention that I think we have several clients now that our residential properties are in high demand and it's very competitive, and we're starting to see people go and search for lots for vacant land where they can build their own home if they have the time.
That's a good idea.
So there's a lot of aspects to that type of transaction. Okay. So you can have a property that has lots of land, or you can just have them buying individual lots. Now, in the master plan communities, typically all of the lots are purchased by a builder, and you're kind of bound. If you want a specific lot, then you have to go with that builder. But I wanted to make sure that everyone knew how to search for raw land. So in your Ntreis, and you go under search, there's residential properties, farm and ranch, land, various different categories that you can search. Yep. So you go in there and you can look for land. I would select land and farm and ranch, if they're looking for acreage, and see what comes up. And then once you find something, you can add that to a client search. And they can kind of see, okay, well, I'm not finding any residential properties. I'm going to add just lots and see what comes up. And you would be surprised, there are lots available. So they may have to go outside of the suburban area, just a hair, not much. But I think it's a good way for you to maybe have that conversation with your client and give them that suggestion. Okay, if they're becoming very frustrated with not being able to find a home, then add that into the mix and try that. So we want to talk about a couple of things that may be different when you are doing a lot or raw land deal versus a residential property, right?
Yeah. So you're asking here, some of the notes we would talk about is where to search for the lot. So we covered that.
Yep.
What contract to use,
okay.
due diligence,
yep.
and financing options for lots.
Okay. So your contract is if you're an Acquisto Real Estate, part of the Acquisto Real Estate family, your zip forms template will be vacant lot. And that's the contract that you would use. So we have a template set up for that already. So it is the unimproved property contract.
Yes.
So basically it's the same as the residential. You're just taking away the structure and improvements. Okay. So it's pretty simple. But you need to do a little bit more due diligence for your client. So if they're going to buy a lot, there's several things that you need to know. Okay. What are the deed restrictions? What restrictions are there in this development? Is there an HOA, or what kind of, are there covenants, or what do they want to do with this property? And then you need to make sure that they can do that. So maybe they want to build a home and a guest home. Okay, well, you need to find out if they're allowed to do 2 different structures. So you need to ask the question of your client, what are your plans for this property? Okay, and you need to also make sure that utilities are brought to the property. If not, that's very expensive, right? The location, I think, is the most important. You need to know where this property is located. Make sure that you map it out and do all those things just as you would do in a typical residential property, but know where that lot is. Are there any underlying factors that in the future could be problematic when you go to sell?
That's a really good point.
Right? Or build.
You're talking about like power lines, easements, access points, what's behind you, right? Is there some nuisance that's coming in? Is there an open space that's going to become townhouses, a Walmart, a storage unit? something like that.
And I would
A
say
dump.
environmental hazards, such as, natural hazards too. Is it in a flood zone?
Is it on a fault line?
Is it on a flood? Is it on? Yep. Hey,
Are there
never know.
natural resources there? We're currently dealing with that.
Yeah.
Subsurface.
What type of, there's so many things. And then the taxes, right? Is there an opportunity to have any type of exemption as far as ag exemptions or, any type of tax savings that maybe they could take advantage of? So there's oodles and oodles of things that you need to ask when you're starting, you're taking it a step back and starting really from scratch.
So often you can secure this piece of property. In total, it's probably going to be more expensive. So if you're asking me directly, hey, what if I buy my own lot? Well, the reason a person's selling it to you is because they want to make a profit. And what if I bring in my own builder? Probably more expensive than the builder making a little bit of money on the lot and pre-purchasing them, putting it all together. So you're probably going to be paying a premium in short. But if you want it, then you can get it.
And I would understand their budget. Okay, so there's a couple things to that. Financing's different. There's different options available. Sometimes it's difficult to get a loan just on a lot. Okay?
That is a true statement.
So you need to find out what their financing situation is, and if they have their own builder, or if they need to find a builder, and maybe you can incorporate it all into a construction loan. I mean, there's many variables to that. That you want to be careful with. And then, what else is I gonna?
Well, no, talking about financing will be super important, right? Because of that, and then the construction financing and permanent to term, or is it a takeout loan? And there's a lot of things with financing. In general, if somebody's going to be building a home, think I'm putting a bunch of money down, and if they're like, oh, I want 100% finance it, and I want to do all that on my own, maybe pass.
And Stacy brought up, square footage. There's a property in Gunner, not Gunter, people. It's Gunner. But in Gunner, that they require the home to be a specific size, right? So just, when you go to do that, let's talk about it. And let's make sure that we don't, that we properly care for our client and ask all the right questions and take care of them. It could be new for them. The other thing I was going to mention earlier is there's kind of a rule of thumb of your lot when you're paying for a lot, okay, and then you make the improvements on it. What percentage of the lot, what is the value of the lot in the overall project? And that kind of keeps you in check so you don't over improve or do something kind of crazy. If somebody's selling the lot and all of a sudden it's triple the amount of what it should be, and then you put your improvements on it, you could really be over the top for that particular community. Know anything about that?
Yes. And then there's a couple of other factors. So for land, it's supposed to be the valuation in a typical situation. In a normal subdivision, like if everything's perfect, the land is supposed to be 20% or 1/5 to 25% or 1/4 of it. So whatever amount you pay for the land. So assume that you pay $100,000 for the land, then the improvements upon that land should be $400,000 ish, and then you should come to $500,000 total for the total value of the property. If you find yourself going outside that and it's not a traditional setting, inside a traditional setting, then you're probably over improving that. If the property happens to have something like a tremendous amount of lake frontage,
and maybe you don't have comps, right? But if you have something that's highly desirable, that's kind of rare, and sought after, then then you might be okay to go up just a little bit.
Yep. So I'm looking at 50-50. If you want to buy a lake lot, then come on out to the Rockin' Star Ranch and we will help you out. We have premium lake lots available for you, and we will build you a premium property. But just know that you're going to be at about 50%, half for land and half for home.
Woo!
And that's because the views are spectacular, and you have water, and you have access, and you have privacy. And in those particular situations, you will pay more for the land because of the uniqueness and the scarcity of land. Did you know they're not making any more land?
What?
That's a fact.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's a scarcity thing. There's no more of it being made. In fact, there's actually less of it now than there was just a while ago because of conservation easements.
They're not making. There's not more time being made. So
Yeah,
you
there
better
is.
hurry.
You can get a
Yeah.
time machine, a personal time machine. What's that?
A plane.
A plane? You buy your own plane?
Yeah.
And that's a time machine.
I would love to have my own plane, but
Well,
maybe in my next life.
we'll get there. We're working on it for you, wife. All right. So, anyways, those are all different factors in buying your own lot. And that's specifically about a lot. Then from there, it would get larger. So you would go from a lot to to more land. It maybe like a farm and ranch.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a different contract for that, right? If it goes above so many acres.
If it's 10 acres is kind of the pivoting point. Anything up to 10, you can get a typical loan. Anything above 10 acres, then it becomes a little more challenging and different type of loan. You have to go kind of a farm and land company bank.
Yep. And then we ran into a couple of issues with our property out in McKinney because it is technically unincorporated. So there are certain banks that don't want to lend there because it is unincorporated and it doesn't have certain things. So it does have sewer. And no, it does have water and gas and electricity, but not sewer.
Yeah.
So it does have its own septic system, and that's totally fine. But there's certain lenders that carve out and they want it to be in an incorporated area and part of a city, in which we are not. We are part of the county. So certain lenders
It does have its
lend
benefits,
there.
though.
No, it definitely does.
You know, the restrictions are, you know.
So there's like no
ease
building
of
plans.
restrictions,
So-
but on the flip side, you know, paying for it, I guess, is difficult.
Yes. So those are some real things if it's not in certain areas for loans. And then sometimes they want the land to be a certain size. So we have a challenge because that property in particular is just about 7 acres. So with 7 acres, the land value is a certain amount of the property. And so it's tough to show certain things. And some people don't want to lend on so much land, but want to lend on more. So if it was like 11 acres, then it would be a little bit easier. So how do you solve that, Shana? You just buy more land.
I don't.
Just buy it all. We once heard that from a very inspirational individual, and let's call him Orion. So, so he said, just buy it all,
Oh,
Shauna,
man.
and you won't have to worry about that.
Okay.
And with that, I think we are good. Shauna, how about you whistle us out? We're going to go to that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for today from Bozeman, Montana. New hat from the Pickle Barrel, right across from the university. Shauna brought me over there the other day. She spent some good time there with Jody previously, right? And we got was it a Philly cheesesteak?
Philly cheesesteak. They're
One of their
famous for
noteworthy
Philly
items.
cheesesteaks.
So their steak was like this long.
So it's
the
on
bread.
a French, you know, you go to the store and you get a French bread, right? You get a whole loaf of French bread.
Whole loaf.
That's what the sandwich is.
Well, then you can cut it in half. And
We
then
did a half of a half, right?
Yeah,
And
we
it was
each
still
had
pretty big.
ate a quarter. We
Yeah.
split it. You and I are good friends, so like we can split food. It's not a big deal. So thank you guys for joining us today. We did cover 2 topics in particular today. We covered keeping your car clean. It's really weird how people
Thank
look
you
at
for
things.
always keeping my car clean.
I know, and
Now
gassed
I
up.
have a greater appreciation for that.
I know. We won't tell the story about how you ran out of gas. No, we won't. We were not going to. That's not being shared right now. But yes, keep your car clean, keep it gassed, always be ready in case there's an emergency. But people do judge you. And if you want to be judged in a favorable way, then keep
shouldn't
your
be
car clean.
judgmental.
Hey, well, it's not me. It's not me. It's the rest of the world. And that is a common thing. And how to structure a land deal, but most specifically a lot deal if you want to purchase a lot for your client. And that's a thing. I do see people moving one phase out to get more property.
Yep.
And that's why we're here, because people like a lot of land and a lot of space, right? So there is a migration pattern going on.
There certainly
Within
is.
this country, there are a lot of people moving to different locations and getting more property. And they want a little bit more space. COVID has shown us that there are things that are desirable, and more space happens to be one of them. It's a weird shift.
Sure is.
So we're here for you. We'll be reporting live tomorrow. We'll have all of our audio things fixed, so we should be good.
We should be good. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
Whistle us out.
That was weak.
All eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention. I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step. I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, my, my. Oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, my, my. Oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. New look, got the ladies shook. New watch saying it's my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. I'm there with a vision. I got a passion, making it happen. I'm ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. All eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I